We're live now, Chairman.
Right. Thank you. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Barrowford and Western Parishes on this beautiful day. It's far too nice to be inside, so. First item on the agenda is declarations of interest. Does any member have a declaration they'd like to declare? No? If not, do it during the meeting, please. Public question time. Joanne, do we have any members of the public? No?
No, Chairman, we don't.
Thank you. Minutes to approve, otherwise the minutes of the meeting held on the 4th of March. Somebody move those?
I will second those, thank you.
Thank you very much. All in favour? All three of us, please show. Thank you. Police and community safety issues. Joanne has circulated those. Thank you, Joanne. Any queries on it? Robert? You're mute, Robert.
Yep, unmuted. Do we have a police representative here? Sorry, I've only just joined.
No, not at the moment, no. So, but they have sent the details round.
Yeah, I would have asked that there seemed to be the two things, a slightly higher than usual amount of assaults in Barrowford on the list, although that covers a wide variety of things, I suppose. More importantly, just on Barrowford Then and Now, which I saw this morning, about yesterday, a group of about 20 young kids drinking in the park and apparently abusing passers-by. So I would have asked if patrols in Barrowford Park could be strengthened in some way. I know it's the Easter holidays and the unlocking has led to a lot more of people out and about, but it sounded pretty unpleasant to read the reports.
Well, I'm sure we can pass that on to Mark.
Thank you.
Yes.
And Madam Chairman, I would also have raised a couple of issues. I was by the park yesterday and I was astounded by how many people there were on the park in very close proximity, which drew a little bit of concern. But I'm also concerned, whilst it wasn't in Barrowford, of youngsters, children, teenagers or immediate pre-teenagers who have been contacted when they're out with their friends by the police, and some have been given £200 fines. This is after they've broken up from school and just met. I trust that this won't be happening on the park or in locations where children will be meeting, because it's a bit of a disagreement to them when they're allowed to assemble with distancing, but in groups of 6, I would have thought.
Well, I mean, I suppose we've got to leave it to the police to do their job, but I mean, obviously, again, we can contact Mark. You've got the contact details.
Yeah, I'll speak to Mark, because it seems a little bit heavy-handed, especially when we're talking of kids who've been absolutely held in for months on end now, and this is the first opportunity they've got to meet some of their friends, and it seems an immense shame for them to be penalised in this way. So much so that I know my granddaughters have now been told, that's it then, you don't go out. What a disastrous, what a shame. I'll speak to Mark, and I certainly think, but still, we'll see.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Hello, Paula.
Hi.
Good afternoon, Paula.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Anything else for the police? Right, so we move on to planning applications, and the first one is erection of a single-storey extension to the side of a property, rising the ridge height to form second storey for habitable accommodation at 4 Wheatcroft Avenue Fence. Catherine, is there anything you want to say on this one?
Thank you, through you, Chair. We don't have an update on this one. Obviously, it's come before members due to a number of objections received. We've gone through those and addressed them in the report. In our view, there's no. Just 1 second.
Is that somebody's fire alarm?
Yes, it's the test.
Downstairs, so do not leave the room.
I wasn't running. So yes, we've addressed the concerns in the report. We've got some amended plans. In terms of the parking and everything, everything's been addressed, and therefore the recommendations to approve. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Newman, do you have anything you want to add on that?
Yes, I did have some concerns on this at the beginning. Like Catherine said, the concerns have all been addressed. The only concern I do have, which apparently is supposed to have been sorted out, is the parking. It's a very, very sore pointing fence, I'm afraid, but we'll have to grin and bear it. But I think parking is going to be one of the biggest problems around where they're going to extend, because if they're extending, there's a reason, and the reason will be that they're going to have more people there with vehicles. So my concern is the parking side of it, Catherine. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Newman. Yeah. And of course, the parking will be addressed by LCC.
That's correct, Chair. There's no objections from LCC. There is a garage space and there is room within the curtilage for 2 parking spaces, so that gives a total of 3, which is what is required for this this development.
Catherine, can I come back, Catherine? The only thing to it is that there are more than 3 cars there now. So what the extent of parking will be, then that is my concern. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, thank you. Well, the officer's recommendation is that this is approved. Does anybody have any thing to add on this?
Yes, I think this has gone as far as it can. We have to approve it. Thank you.
Right, thank you. So you're seconding that. I will move that it be approved. Are you seconding that, Councillor Newman?
I will second that. Thank you.
Yeah. All in favour that this application be approved?
Yeah, in favour.
Yes. Councillor Newman, Councillor Turner, yes?
Yes, yes.
The application is approved. Thank you. Right, now the next application is erection of a detached 2-storey dwelling, and I think, Paula, you wish to speak on this.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Can everybody hear me? Just checking.
Yes.
Yeah, great. Okay. Yeah, it's just a couple of minutes. Don't worry, it's not too long.
It's all right. I tend not to bother too much.
Okay.
Although I can listen to you for hours.
Okay,
But we're not going to. So.
Thank you, Chair. I'm aware that the parish council haven't objected to the application, but I do wish just to draw to members today a few details that I don't think have been fully evaluated as part of the assessment of the application. The first issue was with the trees and the tree replacement. It was disappointing that as part of the officer's report, the council's tree officer expert had made no detailed comments. Committee should have been reminded that a TPO application was made in 2019 and that several trees were conditioned. Clearly, there was never the intention to replace the trees, and clearly there was always the intention to submit an application for a dwelling. The issue of trees was never actually mentioned on the submission of this current planning application, with no declaration of trees on the actual application as part of question 12, which does officially need to be completed. And it only seems to be after there were complaints and letters of objection received, that there seems to be amended plans that were submitted showing the replacement of the trees, which is the scheme obviously that's been currently considered. And I just hope that committee can understand the frustrations really, and a bit of lack of confidence on the part of the council in terms of the handling of the trees. I know that the current scheme does put forward tree replacements, and you've got to make your decision based upon that, but it was just to raise that as an issue. In terms of the residential amenity, just under the 4th paragraph of the officer's report, it does say that the development would not result in unacceptable or overbearing impacts on the neighbouring dwelling. I've just got to just to be clear that there will definitely be an impact on number 1 Grange Avenue. There's currently kind of quite a substantial gap between the gable of 1 Grange and Casper's Fold. And whilst there might not be any sort of direct overlooking of the habitable rooms, there will quite clearly be an impact, with a new 2-storey dwelling being set only sort of 3 metres to the side of that property. And like I said, there is currently sort of a definite gap between the properties, which reflects the kind of the style of properties and the plot sizes. Obviously, Casperfold sits on quite a sweeping corner, and there's kind of quite a lot of space around. And then the property, the house types do change as you go up Grange Avenue, being more semi-detached and being a bit higher density. And whilst the officer's report details distance from Casperfold, from 1 Casper Avenue, and even 6 Barnoldswick Road, the report doesn't state the distances of the property of the proposed from the nearest property, which is 1 Grange Avenue. Just another point as well, and this is just a point of clarity. I was a bit disappointed that the officer's report didn't have anything at all in about the neighbourhood plan. Obviously, the site does fall in the Barrowford neighbourhood plan area. It does form part of the statutory development plan for Pendle, and therefore all planning applications that do fall within this area should be noted in reports. There is an applicable policy in the Barrowford neighbourhood plan for new housing developments. Parts D and E are relevant. Part D considering residential amenity, and E that considers development within sort of garden areas. And again, I think that's just been overlooked in the officer's report. And finally, I mean, should members be minded to approve the scheme, I just wanted to suggest a slight alternative in the actual layout. I hopefully shared that with members this morning, and it really does just provide a bit more distance between 1 Grange Avenue than the 3 metres that's currently put forward, and would give an equal distance from 1 Grange Avenue to the new dwelling to Casper's Fold. My sketches, I don't have any plan drawing sort of software or anything. I am just a planner, but I just wanted to be able to kind of show it in a concept form. So like I said, the suggestion was just to move the attached garage so that was closer to 1 Grange Avenue rather than the other side on Casper's Fold. And that's all I wanted to say, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Paula. Catherine, do you have anything? Catherine, you can unmute.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Yes, as members are aware, we've got a slight update on this one. Just a short one with some tweaks to a couple of the conditions. Still recommending, obviously, approval. Conditions 9, we've just changed some of the PD rights that were proposed to be removed. Obviously, we need to look at the reason for removing PD rights, so we've just changed that. So it will be extensions, curtilage buildings, walls and fences, and hard standing and accesses. and also the construction method statement, we've just changed that slightly to make it more acceptable and to cover what needs to be addressed in terms of highway safety and amenity. In terms of this application, we were obviously aware of the protected trees when the application came in. Sometimes people don't always put the correct things on the forms, but that is down to us to check what constraints are on the site and address that. I know both the case officer and the tree officer had numerous discussions with the applicant and agent regarding the replacement tree notice, which has been served, which is why the tree officer hasn't objected to this proposal. That's already been agreed. The applicant's well aware that the replacement trees need to be planted within the site. Obviously, since that was agreed, this application's come in. So what we've asked them to do is address the layout of this in order to ensure that we can still achieve the replanting. If this application does not replace that, there is a condition on for a landscaping scheme. That includes where the replacement trees will go, and we will deal with that at the condition stage. In terms of the replacement tree notice, that's done separately through the tree officer, and if it isn't brought in, then he will deal with that under that legislation. I think condition 7 addresses all of that. In terms of the impact on number 1 Grange Avenue, it's been assessed, and as Paula said, there is no direct impacts. We've got amended plans. We've looked at the relationship between, obviously, the existing house and number 1 Grange Avenue, because we have to look at the existing house as well and the impacts on that. And we've got amendments to try and deal with that. Now, in terms of distances, the design SPD doesn't have a specific distance from in between properties where windows aren't affected. Yes, there will be a 2-storey building at the side of it, but they've got a garage in between that. Yes, there's a 3 metre gap, which I have to say is considerably more than most new dwellings, which only have 1 metre gap between them on a lot of the new developments. Yes, it's going to reduce that gap, but obviously building a house in the rear garden will do that. So we've looked at the distances and we've looked at the impacts. I appreciate that Paul has looked at an alternative scheme, but what members have to look at is what's been proposed before them. Can't consider alternatives being proposed at this stage. If the original scheme is acceptable, then members have to vote in favour of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you. Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Madam Chairman, first of all to Catherine, the implications on the neighbourhood plan, on the suggestions in the neighbourhood plan of back garden or infill developments and the concerns that were raised there, was that taken into account? And are you happy with the avenues that he's taking there? And as far as the TPOs are concerned, can we be satisfied that adequate and satisfactory trees will be replanted? And when they are we sure that they will fit well into the structure of the housing that is there? And as far as the garage is concerned, that Paula was alluding to, has this been put to the developer and to his planners? And if so, what was their response? Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. Robert? Yes, sorry, Catherine.
Yeah, better for Catherine to reply, I think, first before I say my piece.
Yes, sorry.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, in terms of the neighbourhood plan, the policies, the policies should be in the report and referred to. We have taken that into account and looked at the nature of the development in terms of the plan policies. With the replacement trees, it is a separate issue because the TPO trees were agreed to be removed prior to this application. I know Paul referred to reasons why and things like that. Obviously, we won't go into that here. We deal with the application separately. Yes, we will look at what sort of trees they are, where they are planted, and impacts on neighbouring developments as part of that condition. And that is something that the tree officer will consider once we get a detailed landscaping plan. They have given us an indication, so we know that they can achieve it within the site, and we have made recommendations and suggestions of where moving some of them and where they should be and what type of species. But again, that is for them to submit. In terms of the suggested plan, the first time I've seen that is today, so I don't know whether that has gone before the agent, but because the scheme before us is acceptable, we don't need to do that. We're not looking at an alternative scheme. We've looked at it, assessed it, gone back and asked them to make the changes, which they've done, and the scheme before us is put forward as acceptable in that terms.
Thank you, Catherine. Robert?
Thank you. I understand that new material has come from Paula today. Unfortunately, I haven't seen that. Would it have any bearing on the parish council's objection concerning the use of the garage? If it could have an answer to that, then I can continue.
No.
Sorry, Robert. Was your concern about the garage of One Grange Avenue or the garage of the proposed being used? Not being restricted to only being used as a domestic garage and not being able to change?
Yes, the latter. Yeah. We suggested that this should be, if it's possible, to have a condition of this sort imposed, simply because it is a pretty narrow corner there, and parking on the pavements or in the street, if that was caused by this new development, would be very disadvantageous to everybody.
Yes, through you, Chair, that can be added on to any grant of permission to restrict the use of the garage.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? No?
Madam Chair?
Thank you, Councillor Newman.
Yeah, just one item. I don't know whether it's relevant or not, but the tree situation seems to have been resolved. But he said they talk about the fencing and what have you. Would there any chance that they could put hedges up rather than fences to make it more sustainable and more in keeping with the area? Thank you.
Thank you. I don't suppose that could be conditioned, could it, Catherine?
Through you, Madam Chairman, it's part of Condition 7 where the details of the boundary treatments and things need to be submitted, so we can look at it as part of that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you. So the officer recommendation is to approve this. Any queries on that? Can somebody move?
I move it.
Who is that?
Councillor Carlo.
Councillor Carlo, hello, nice to see you. So you move that this be approved? Will somebody second?
Yeah.
Thank you. Will somebody second?
Oh.
I'll second.
Councillor Turner? So it has been moved and seconded that this application be approved. All in favour, please indicate. Thank you. Councillor yes. Councillor Leo. Councillor Turner, yes. Councillor Newman?
Yeah.
Yes. Myself, thank you. So this application is approved. Thank you. With the conditions added. And hopefully we'll get a hedge instead of a fence.
I hope so.
Hope so. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you for your attendance.
Thank you.
Right,
Thank you, Paula.
now,
Thank you, Paula. See you again.
planning appeals. With no new ones. We do seem to have a lot of outstanding ones, don't we? I understand there's been a decision made on the 020/0560 HHO, and that is appeal against planning permission for extension to form first floor roof to the side and replacement roof to the rear conservatory at Little Stone Edge Farm, Gisborne Road, Blacko. The appeal has been allowed, but with conditions. Neil, I've just noticed you're here. Do you have anything to say on that?
No, I was just going to bring to your attention that I'd bumped into Howard Smith. Yeah, he had indeed received approval.
Good. So, thank you. Thank you.
We were in favour anyway, so we weren't bothered.
Anything else on the appeals? Right, enforcement actions. Have we an update? I mean, Catherine, we've got Spenbrook again.
Yes, through you, Chair. Spenbrook, all work has ceased on the site. There's been no activity on there since before Christmas. I think we will keep monitoring that one and see what happens in terms of the development and moving that forward. But at the moment, while it's stopped, it's not causing any issues anyway. So,
well, it's not proposing any issues. That's the main thing. So, can we take this one, the Landing Field 0049 Wheatley Lane Road fence off? The date to comply by was the 1st of 4/20, which is long gone. So.
It was, but through you, Madam Chairman, obviously through COVID we weren't going out and doing site visits. I would need to check, it's a legal report, so I would need to check with legal as to whether that's been complied with and can come off, but that is one that's on the list to do. I think Dab's house at Roughly, I think we've received an application to do some variations to the conditions, so I'll double check on that and let members know. And then the one on Cookstool Lane fence, we are prosecuting on that one.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes, sir, Brian. Sorry.
Just to tell Catherine that there has been a site meeting at Spenbrook today. I don't know what the outcome is, but there was quite a lot of people there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Newman. So. Anything else on enforcement? So obviously we'll get to know the result of the Cookstool Lane one in time. Right, thank you very much. So financial matters, capital programme, we still have £546 in the capital programme, which there's no bids in, so unless anybody has any desperate desire to spend it, we'll carry that forward until next year. Okay. We have received the minutes of the traffic liaison meeting held in February. These are for information. Anybody any queries or questions on this?
Yes.
Yes.
Chair, I've only recently seen this. It says consultation on the Barrowford Road, Barrowford proposed Toucan crossing is to start shortly. I'm not entirely clear where that's going to be.
No, I don't know. I can't help you on that. So.
It says the crossing is now to be on the west side of the roundabout, but that still doesn't make life much clearer.
I'm trying to work out which would be the west side. So.
Perhaps someone could get back to us for the next meeting.
I'll raise the
Chair.
question.
On? Sorry, David, was that you?
Yeah, sorry, Chair. I say I can raise the question and email the.
If you would please, yeah. None of us seem to our point.
I just wonder if it's in connection with the Lomisher Industrial Extension on the bypass. The proposed mini round.
Oh, right.
Could be, yeah.
Possibly. It was just a guess.
Oh dear.
Right.
Do you know which is the west side, Joanne?
The west side is going up. Yeah, is your left-hand side going up from Barrowford?
I think actually it is the Toucan that Northstone are having to put in for the development that they're bringing on Trothlaith, and you'll find that it is that Toucan that is the one in discussion immediately before the roundabout at the end of Rivers Way.
Right.
Right.
Toucan on the main road.
Yep.
Yes. So it's a more southwest side.
Yeah.
The road is sort of southwest northeast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, that clears up my puzzlement.
But if we could, if David, if you would please get full clarification on that, thank you, and then we know what we're talking about.
Okay.
Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The Barrowford reopening, you have a report that the officers have put in to us, and at this point in time, I'll give you an update of what has happened. We initially contacted 49 shops and businesses with respect of the Barrowford reopening and the web page. Since the initial 49, we're now up to 67 businesses, being another 18 that have contacted ourselves or have been introduced to ourselves through a third party. Out of those 67, we've actually spoken with 34. And out of those 34, 23 have indicated that they would like to join in the proposed features avenue on the web page. Now, the web page is at this situation now been published and is in the fact at this point in time being updated. It will be further updated after April the 12th when the town is open, and when a video showing shoppers in the town will be able to activate free, safe shopping in the town, abiding by the pandemic rules. We then have the videos being put onto the site, again showing 4 separate styles of shops and the protection that is offered to residents who come into Barrowford. Our funding that we have just over £900 left in the funding, for us to spend, of which we are proposing to put signage on lampposts with the hands, face, the illustrations. We're proposing to put signage to tell people to be a little bit distant under the present regulations, and it will leave a little surplus still in the pot. Now, this has to be spent on safety issues, and I would like to see it done in, if we cannot find any other suggestion that comes up today, we could perhaps do another video, again showing another form of retail so as to bring people into Barrowford. After July the 1st, when the ERDF funding is concluded, it would be sacrilege to waste the video, to waste the web page that has been produced and been published. And as a consequence of that, of the members of the Feature Club, a number of them have asked if they could join collectively together to manage, collect together the features avenue, and also to produce the benefits of the web page for Barrowford and also for the associated neighbouring villages. And to do that, they would need to take control of the web page at that stage, which would mean that the town itself would be responsible then for paying the annual subscription for the continuance of the web page. The 23 that we have at the moment, in addition to that 23, there are a further 6 businesses who really would like to join the features, but frankly can't commit themselves until they re-establish their business to see that they can afford the £15 a month that is the entrance fee that they will be paying. The idea of the entrance fee is in fact to pay for a video per month, which is at a cost of £500, to identify a particular shop. The web page will show the features feature on the front of it and direct people there, and then the illustrations of these shops will actually guide people into doing shopping in and around Barrowford. And obviously, when the villages become a party to it as well, we will be asking for a small contribution from the villages to amend the video to include the villages as well, to show people to come in. What we are then having at that point is a video that identifies Barrowford and Barrowford area to the whole wide world, to bring people into the area, A, for leisure, A, for recreation, and also for doing shopping. I have been approached by very senior management of a rather large engineering company who have suggested that if they can do anything at all to help, they would be most happy to help. And I've also been approached by another person who has to remain a little bit unknown, to suggest that they will be prepared to help, but also the idea of the committee is not only to launch the concept of the safe shopping in Barrowford, but also to offer assistance to the retailers after April the 12th who experienced difficulty on reopening because of the amount of time that they've been closed, because everyone is of the opinion that the more shops that we can have re-established in Barrowford, the better. And certain people have offered assistance in a number of ways to help any businesses that are experiencing difficulties. As a consequence of that, I'm asking that this committee gives authorization to the lead officer. And first of all, before we go any more further, can I say publicly to David to Hassan and to the officers that they have had working with them in the publicity. Thank you very much. Without all of you, this would never have got off the ground as it has. Thank you very much. We desperately are appreciative of what you have done. But following on from that, we are now in the situation where the retailers want to help the retailers who are going to be re-establishing, experiencing difficulties. And as a consequence, they're asking that the organisation, the responsibility of the web page from July the 1st goes to the committee that will be established as at July the 1st in order to manage and to be responsible for the annual fee for the web page. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. I personally think it is up to the retailers themselves to get together to organise this, because I think there is quite a lot of enthusiasm amongst the retailers to do this, to work together and do this.
They are, Madam Chairman, already happy to unite. I have been offered, in order to organise this, 3 locations for free accommodation for arranging of meetings, and also free office space for the continuance of the operation of this web page.
Thank you. Councillor Newman, were you wishing?
Thank you, Chair. Sorry about that. I think it's commendable, the amount of work that has been done, and I think we fully support what is going on in Barrowford, even though I don't live in Barrowford. So I just say thanks to everyone. Let's hope this project goes forward and is longevity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Newman. David, is there anything you wish to add?
Sorry, Chair, myself. Sorry.
Yes, you.
I didn't realise I'd be given the opportunity to speak. No, I haven't prepared anything. I think just making members aware for me, there's obviously there will be an influx of people coming into Barrowford over the coming weekends and onwards as grassroots sports reconvene. I think it's important really to have reminders and messages up regarding social distancing, which we have done in the park, and are hoping to do so as Councillor Turner reports. Really, so I think there are a recommendation in the report regarding the funding, but I think you would need to consider the recommendation for the posters, which were £135 for 10 posters, and then I think the leaflet that's wanted for shop windows, and then make a decision on whether you're allowing or happy for the remainder of the funding to be used by the Planning Economic Development Service to see this project through to its end, really.
Yes, I think that's a good idea, actually.
Could we ask, Madam Chairman, that I've been asked by retailers that will we be happy for this committee today, because this is the last meeting that technically may take place before the conclusion of the ERDF funding, that the responsibility for the web page be passed on to the retailers under their committee as from July the 1st, that they then take control of it. Otherwise, if they haven't got control of the web page, they won't be able to continue to collect the fundings that have been promised by the retailers to spend on doing the videos for the hero shop, for hero units, for the feature shops, if they haven't got control of the web page to put them on. There's no point in doing it.
Yeah, I think it is essential that the retailers themselves have control over this. Because after all, it is their livelihood. You know, they're the people who are really involved.
So what we are saying then is that it will be. Will this committee agree to pass control of the web page onto the retailers group for organisation from July the 1st? This is all we're asking.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if the rest of the committee will agree.
David, you've got your hand up.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, not against the recommendation and obviously the decision, but I think we just need to be clear that if we are handing over the website, it was funded from the European Union EDRF funding, and the safety messages and the requirements of the EDRF funding will still need to be met for the period of the agreement.
Madam Chairman, if I may come back on that. Yes, the retailers are not taking it over until till July the 1st, which is after the expiration of the ERDF funding. And what I can also say is that my experience of the retailers is they are happy for that to continue indefinitely because they see benefits to it, to Barrowford. The idea of the web page from then on is to outline to the rest of the world how fortunate they are to have the opportunity to visit Barrowford, which would be far better than having to come into Nelson.
Yeah, thank you. So we're agreeing that after July the 1st, is it July the 1st?
July the 1st.
After July the 1st, that the retailers themselves take over the running of the web page.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Oliver?
Yes, thank you. I firstly just wanted to echo that point that I think the retailers taking over is definitely the best way forward. Also to echo Councillor Newman's point that commendable progress has been made. But I just wanted to check, since looking back in my diary, I think the last meeting of the working group was about January the 12th, whether there actually have been any other meetings of the working group, because I think we were going to look at the Voidwell presentation, and as far as I know, that didn't happen. Largely, I think, because £2,000 for a website does seem a bit on the pricey side to me. It might be a bit water under the bridge, but it'd be interesting to hear Councillor Turner's response.
Councillor Turner?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chairman. Madam Chairman, the £2,000 was not only for the website. The £2,000 was also for the installation of the domain name. It was also for doing an initial video, and the video will be filmed on or after April the 12th when the shops are open, because it was felt that we have to show in the video a vibrant town rather than a town that has a lot of empty shops with shutters up. We don't want to give the wrong impression to the outside world of Barrowford being a little quiet because of the present conditions. So the video is scheduled to be concluded after April the 12th. The 4 videos that are now being produced, one of which I think may already be up there, are purely of 4 shops that are displaying to the outside world how safe it is to come into their particular shops, as an indication of shopping in Barrowford, with the protections that are being offered for people coming in to make it compliant to ERDF safety funding. From after April the 12th, after July the 1st, the videos that will then continue will in fact be of retail shops in the present position as at that stage. They are contributing. At the moment there are 23 plus a further 6 who want to be a party to it if they can afford it when it reopens. But there are 23 shops that are contributing £15 each per calendar month into a specified account that will then be put forward for the one video per month of £500, and they will rotate round to have the videos done and put on the site of what they do under the feature stores, so as to try and bring people in, to bring more business into those particular shops. That is their form of advertising, and that in itself, because there are already 23 with another 6 who want to do it, indicative of the input that the traders are putting into this, and the fact of why they are all working together to have this up and running. I'm not paying the money for the video. I'm not doing that or any of that organisation. It is with them that are working together to do it. And some of the traders have come up with some very good ideas that they want to raise when they are collectively together after July the 1st.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Just one query about obviously there's money being exchanged. Where is this going?
Well, we're hoping that the Marston Building Society will open a specific account for it, and it will then go into Marston Building Society, and it will be managed and operated by the traders.
And who is going to benefit from this money?
The traders. There is no charge at all for administration. It is purely for the concept of it is to collect the £500 per month to fund the hero worship videos that will then be published on the webpage. But they will be looking after that themselves.
Mr. Oliver, you've got your hand up still.
Oh, sorry. Yes, well, thank you. And just to check, I didn't miss any working group meetings then.
Well, no, I didn't get any notification either. So there obviously haven't been any meetings.
Well, there was information being circulated to all people, and no one ever came back to any of it.
Thank you.
Chairman, in the officer's report, one of the recommendations is to delegate the remaining spend of £963 to the planning manager to make a decision on that spend. Are you making a decision on that at this meeting? Have I missed that, or?
No, I mean, what about this? Is this money going into this account, Councillor Turner?
No. The account that we are talking of is after July the 1st. It is when the retailers are managing and looking after the webpage after July the 1st. Up till July the 1st, it is under the auspices of Pendle Borough Council. And I would suggest, if I may, that money stays under the control of the lead officer and the administrative officer, Hassan. And they obviously, from May the 6th, it is quite probable that one or more of us may not be on this committee. And hence the reason decisions should be made. What I would suggest is that the balance of that funding should be left under the control of Mr. Walker. And if this committee would agree, I would then put to Mr. Walker recommendations that the traders would like to recommend, and it would be under his jurisdiction until July the 1st, because from July the 1st, that funding is no longer available. That is ERDF money, and that concludes on the 30th of June. I think Mr. Walker will be able to confirm this.
Mr. Walker, you've got your hand up. Sorry, you had your hand up for a minute or two.
Sorry, yeah, I was just listening to Councillor Turner, but it's fine. There is the recommendation within the report to pass the remainder of the funding over to the planning economic development regulatory services, which is what the recommendation is in the report. I was just suggesting that the committee agrees prior to that decision being taken, they agree to the £135 being spent on the posters for the town centre, which was 10 posters. Whether you wish to decide on more posters for safety signing. And then there's the A5 printed leaflets, I think, which were at a price of £33. Just taking those two issues would leave you with just short of £800, I think, left to be placed into the central pot, which I presume would then be used to reaffirm safety signing leaflets and carry out any other necessary works. Happy for you to obviously make your recommendations and take your decisions as you wish. And clearly, if you do want me to do something with this funding, I will do my best with it. Those are the proposals I think that we really should be concentrating on.
Yes, I think I would agree with that.
I second that.
Thank you, Carlo. So, David, would you like to just repeat it, and then we know clear what we're doing?
Okay, right, sorry. So the proposal that we've worked on for some safety signing for the town centre was for posters at £135. I just want confirmation you're happy with 10, or would you like 20? Because you have the funding available at the moment. It probably would be enable you to do damage.
I think if we have 20, we can have them more illuminated down through the town. The idea of 10 simply puts them on the town entrances, but not in the town centre itself.
Yeah, I think we'd go for 20.
Okay, I shall make arrangements for that. And then there was also the decision on A5 printed leaflets to be displayed in the shops through the town, which were simply advertising social distancing and safety messages. Again, they were at a cost of £33. I think 300 grams GSM. Sorry, I don't know the terminology. Full one-sided.
I thought these were the ones that we were looking to buy in for distribution into the town, to the houses as well. Or
the leaflets, print safety leaflets, as they are identified in the report, are the £600 times 2. So they're planned a spend £1,200.
Yes, that's fine. My apologies. So these leaflets are just for the ones to be exhibited in the shop windows as you go into the. That's fine. And how many are there altogether there, David?
There was it's £33 for 100. So it would depend.
100 will be enough for the town. To go through. And then I can take them down through all the retailers and get them to put them in the windows. Okay.
So that would then leave £665 in the pot to be then, I suppose, centralised for any initiatives that everybody is doing across the borough.
Yes, I think that's fair enough. So we'll do that.
Could I ask on that, bearing in mind the implications of what may be happening in the foreseeable future, obviously Mr. Walker has got control of where what is to be done with the funding. Has he got the authority to agree to spend, or does it have to come back to a committee, which means that it will be after the ERDF time for it to be done?
I'm sorry, the recommendation, we've agreed some spend there, which takes it down to £665 on my account. The recommendation is for that to then be put into a central pot for the planning economic development service to then use.
So that we lose it in Barrowford.
We would effectively lose it, but we would. The proposal is that any new initiatives will then be funded by that and funded equally in all town centres.
It's not so much we're losing it as if money is being redistributed. And so, I mean, if it benefits the whole of the borough, it benefits Barrowford.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other query on that? No? I thank you, Councillor Turner.
Thank you.
Naming of the streets on Clough Lane.
Yeah.
Has anybody any suggestions for these?
Madam Chair, yes, I have one.
Yes, Councillor Newman.
Right. I would think one of the roads or streets, whatever you want to call them, should be called Jobson, because of the owner of the dye works that used to be there, Frederick Jobson. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Oliver, I believe the Parish Council put forward some suggestions.
Well, I hope everybody has received them. It's a list of about 15 which I sent to Mark Hunting. I assumed that they would be sent on to everybody.
Well, I've received them, so.
If not, then we're in a bit of a quandary.
If we don't, because there's nobody here, if we don't actually make any decision at this meeting, I assume it goes back to the developers and they do say what they want. Does anybody know that? Do you know, Catherine? Or you just you just plan them, you don't name them?
Absolutely, Chair. We just issue the planning permission. We don't do the naming. But I think it says if councils choose to reject the developers' proposed names, they submit alternative names. So I think it's up to yourselves to look at alternatives at this stage.
Thank you. Well, one I would definitely like is, and that is unknown street number 1, and I think that should be called Troughlaith Road, because it does go across the whole of the old Trough Lane. Is anybody any objection?
No.
No? So are we happy, Troughlaith?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, am I all right to speak, Chair?
Yes, of course you can.
Yes, and obviously it's the names put forward have to be agreed by yourself and Councillor Turner as the Barrowford representatives. But I would like to put in the suggestion that was received in the Parish Council list of Wheatley Car for that Spine Road, number 1, because it joins Wheatley Lane Road at the top with Car Hall at the bottom.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking maybe it's not really something for this committee to deliberate, because we could be here all day, really, couldn't we?
Well, we could actually, yes.
I think the developers would like a decision. I think they are pushing. They need to be making plans. So if members could possibly make a decision, I think it would be appreciated.
Well, Joanne, you're a Barrowford resident. What would you like?
I think any of the ones suggested by Barrowford Parish Council, some good suggestions there.
We have the first initial 7. Councillor Newman has advocated 1. Are we happy to include Councillor Newman's in there? If so, there's 6 roads to be named, isn't there?
Yes.
If that is the case, that we include Councillor Newman's, we need to take out, may I suggest, 2 of the 7 that are listed on local place names, and then the other 5 go forward with Councillor Newman.
So what was that again, Councillor Newman?
Yep.
Yeah. What was it?
The name was Jobson.
Jobson, not Judson. Jobson.
No, Jobson. He was called Frederick Jobson. He owned the dye works that was on the land now at the bottom.
Thank you.
What, next to the river?
Yeah.
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 Right.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, could I offer something?
Certainly.
I think Copper Coin Close is such a wonderful place name. I really like that.
Yeah, I must admit it has a ring about it, doesn't it?
Thank you. That was my idea when I found out that there had been a hoard of coins found.
We'll let you take credit for that one. And
so we just need 3 more. We've got 3 so far.
Which are?
Weekly car.
Jobson Street or Road. I don't know which you prefer. And then we've got Wheatley Car and Copper Coin Close.
Well, I definitely do want Troughlaith Road or Way or whatever it is. So.
Troughlaith Way.
Okay.
Right.
So that's 4.
I think Mr. Furman, who lives at Laund House, will be very pleased if we kept Laund Chase there.
Yes. Yes, because it is lawned.
5.
And what was that one the parish council suggested about the lady author?
Oh, Ethel Carney Road or Carney Holdsworth Lane. She was the first working class woman to publish a novel. Lived on Garnet
Street. Yes.
Yes.
Well, definitely all us feminists are going to go for that one. So.
I think Carney Holdsworth Lane is a little long, perhaps.
Well, Holdsworth Lane.
Or the Ethel Carney Road is shorter.
It does sound nicer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no, don't know what it is, so. Right, is that Joanne? That's 6 names.
Yes, would you like it to be Jobson Street, Jobson Road, Jobson Avenue?
Jobson Road, if you could, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to summarise, we've got Jobson Road, Troughlaith Road, Wheatley Car, Copper Coin Close, Laund Chase, and Ethel Carney Road.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I don't think we need. I
thought that was
need.
going to go on forever, actually.
I don't think you need any streets in there because there's no real streets. They're all roads or.
Yes, they're fairly small, aren't they? They're ways or closes more than roads and streets.
Yeah.
Even though some of them are quite substantial.
Well, the Spine Road goes on forever, doesn't it? Because it includes 2 side roads. But apparently, according to Mark Hunting, he didn't want too many signs at the bottom of the development with all, sort of a list of street names as long as your arm.
Can I just clarify? The Spine Road, are you calling it Wheatley Car or Troughlaith Road?
Troughlaith, I thought we said.
I think the chairman wanted Troughlaith. Yeah.
Yes, I did actually.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I guess it is Troughlaith. So. Thank you, everybody. That brings us. Can I just, first of all, now, because I don't know who's going to be meeting again at the next meeting, if indeed there is a next meeting, but can I thank everybody who's been involved, and particularly officers, Catherine and Joanne and David, who have sat through for some rather unusual meetings at times, but thank you all very much. And thank you, councillors. I don't know who is going to be here, if indeed any of us are, when we next reassemble. So thank you all very much for all your help and everything and all the good work you've done. So
and thank you, Chair, for chairing our meetings.
Hopefully we will meet again sometime.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Wish you all the best, everyone. Keep safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. And all
Thank
the
you.
best for Easter. Enjoy your eggs.
Yes, you too. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Good.
You all take care.